Guys, this is day 2 of Inequalities. Remember what we did yesterday? Let's review it quickly. So the first thing, what we did yesterday is with an inequality like this, y is greater than 4. I had you try the number itself, I had you try a smaller number and a much larger number. So 1 is not greater than 4. 4 is not greater than 4. 100 is greater than 4. So let's graph this now. We know it can't be 4. We know it's all the numbers bigger than 4, all the numbers towards 100. For that reason, I cannot put a solid dot on 4. It can't be 4, so I do an open dot. And all the answers greater than 4 work. 4 1/4, 4.001, all the way up to 100 works for that. Okay, so let's look at this inequality. So again, let's try 5, try a number smaller and number larger. 1 is less than or equal to negative, oh, we're at -5. Oh, sorry, I messed that up. So with -5, we're thinking about being like 5 feet underground. So now like -100 is smaller and +5 is bigger. -100 is less than or equal to -5. -5 is equal to -5. 5 is not, so 5 won't work. So we can put a solid dot on -5, and we're not going this way. We're not going towards 5, we're going towards -100. -6 is less than -5. -11, all of these are, remember, solid dot because it's equal. All right, so let's look at this inequality. X for our variable, and I like to write the variable first. You could have written, this last one could be written like this, but I just think it's easier variable first. Okay, so it can be equal to 4. We know we're going to use x and 4. So let's try some numbers. 1, 100. 100 doesn't work. 1 does work. So because 1 works, x is less than or equal to 4. It works for all these numbers, 1 and 4, not 100. Okay, let's do another one like that. So we have x and we have 3. It can't be 3, that doesn't work. Can it be 1? No. Can it be 100? Yes. So for this, we can't have an equal sign. X, 100 is greater than 3, well, so is x. Anything go in this direction. All right, let's look at this. Solve the inequality for x. 22 is less than x plus 6. If we look at this as an equality, let's write it like that. 22 is equal to x plus 6. We could use the additive property of equality like we did last week. Well, now we're using the additive property of inequality. So we can add or subtract the same thing to either side. Later, we'll do the multiplicative property of inequality, which has a caveat, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Okay, so 22 is less than x plus 6. So we can't necessarily put it on a balance, but we can think in the same terms. So I still want to isolate my variable and get the x by itself. So to do that, I have to get rid of plus 6. The inverse of plus 6 is -6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. And what I really do is I bring my inequality symbol straight down. 16 is less than x. Okay, let's look at this next one. X plus 10 is greater than 23. I'm going to bring my inequality symbol straight down. I want to isolate my variable, keep x by itself over here. I want to get rid of -10, -10, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So x is greater than 33. That's the additive property of inequality. Okay, let's look at the multiplicative property of inequality. For this here, it's pretty simple. It's the same type thing. I'll show you an example for those of you that are in the advanced pi, what we're going to have to do for it. Okay, so y times 8, it's written like this. 8y is greater than or equal to 48. Well, I just turned it around, y times 8, so I want to get rid of times 8, so I'm going to divide both sides by 8. So over here I'm left with y is greater than or equal to, 48 divided by 8 is 6. Y is greater than or equal to 6. Okay, the next one, 4v is greater than 28. So I rewrote it, v times 4 is greater than 28. So I'm going to divide each side by 4. This time I'm just going to write it as a fraction, just to practice doing it that way. Over here I'm left with v. Over here I'm left with 7. V is greater than 7. And if I want to put examples in and plug them in, I can. I could try 7 for V, 1 for V, 100 for V. 1 is greater than V, 7, no. 7 is greater than 7, no. 100 is greater than 7, yes. So if I put 100 in over here, that should work. 400 is greater than 28. Okay, I'm going to show you the next step. If you are not in the advanced pi, don't worry about this yet. For the multiplicative property of inequality, there's an exception if we're dealing with negatives. Okay, so if we look at this, 20 is greater than u times negative 5. If I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5, if I'm dividing or multiplying by a negative, what I'm actually going to have to do is I'm going to have to turn the sign. So I'm going to flip it from greater than to less than. Okay, that will not be an assignment on this week, but those of you in the advanced pi that are doing the multiplicative property of inequality with integers, you'll have to remember that rule. All right, for everyone else, ignore that. You'll deal with that next year. All right, that's it for today. Good luck on this assignment. There's 5 questions that go right along with what you just did. Refer back to this video as needed. Finish that quick assignment, and then remember you have 20 minutes in Alex today. Hopefully you can knock out a couple topics. Again, I'll be available from 11 to 12 on Zoom if you need help with something or need to reach out. All right, good luck. See you.